Lebanon, the Islamic resistance issued a statement announcing that its fighters had attacked Israeli artillery launchers in the occupied Palestinian territories. In Russia, President Vladimir Putin hailed the strengthening of military ties with Beijing as he received a senior Chinese general in Moscow. In Somalia, local media reported on Wednesday that at least 29 people were killed and 305,000 displaced due to heavy floodings after heavy rains triggered by an onset of the rainy season known as tired. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll begin with the news. Stay with us. In Lebanon, the Islamic resistance issued a statement announcing that its fighters had attacked Israeli artillery launchers in the occupied Palestinian territories. In the statement, the Islamic resistance stated that the attack came in response to the Israeli aggressions against one of its posts in the area of Iqlim al-Tufa, which took place on the night of Monday, November 6, 2023. The units of resistance movements also fired ground rockets towards the settlement of the Kiryat Shemuna after the crimes committed by the Zionist army against the civilian guard. On Wednesday in Palestine, children from a refugee camp hold up the victory sign of the Young Hospital. In pictures, we see Gaza children expressing hope that their people will win despite continuing Israeli attacks that have left thousands dead and injured. The video camera captured children raising their hands and creating a clear expression of hope. A senior Hamas official on Wednesday claimed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was personally responsible for blocking the release of the foreign hostages detained by the militant group.
During the past few days, there have been targeted attacks to destroy the remaining water tanks, especially in Gaza province and the north. This war on water and the crime of spreading thirst is a crime against humanity and is a policy of collective punishment that could be seen as genocide, and it shows the sadist and monstrous side of the occupation that pretends to be an oasis of democracy and peace to the rest of the world. We say to the international community and especially the UN, it is shameful that this occupying entity is able to cut off water from an entire nation and to use it as blackmail tool to get people to leave their home and land, and use it as a tool of genocide.
Bassem Naim, another member of the Hamas leadership, said that Israel army was targeted water tanks in its attacks on the Gaza Strip on water.
We would like to assure that this criminal Nazi regime, especially the bloodthirsty, terrorist Netanyahu, does not care about the lives of his soldiers, as he is throwing them to their deaths in Gaza for his own personal gain. He is personally responsible for the obstruction of the release of the foreign detainees we are holding, who we have offered to and were ready to release, but he decided to delay the offer.
The head of the Egyptian Red Crescent Society branch, Caleb Said, announced that nearly 100 cargo planes carrying in humanitarian aid have landed so far at the airport in Deir Arish, Egypt on Wednesday. Said also reported that 81 cars with humanitarian cargo had been sent to the Gaza Strip on Tuesday night toward the Rafah checkpoint. As of now, according to Said, a total of 650 cars have been entered to the enclave to help the people of Gaza. Let's take a very short break, but remember you can now join us on our socials, on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, for you to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. On Wednesday, the Venezuelan government issued a statement rejecting a recent joint announcement by the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the United States government of increasing military presence in the region. Through the statement, Venezuela reiterates its denunciation of the increased U.S. military presence with the objective of protecting energy companies operating in the area of the Essequibo, which becomes the greatest threat to the stability of the Caribbean and Latin America. The communique adds that President Irfan Ali continues to refuse to engage in a direct dialogue to resolve the territorial controversy and instead makes a pact with the most aggressive military power in the history of humanity. On Wednesday in the Netherlands, the Venezuelan Foreign Minister Ivan Gil denounced before the International Criminal Court that the accusations against the Venezuelan have the political objective of attacking stability. The Venezuelan minister also points out that the intention was to use the international law of the entity to politically attack the Venezuelan government. The diplomat assured that Venezuela has repeatedly denounced that the unfounded accusations made by the former president of the U.S., Donald Trump, were only a strategy to violate and undermine the sovereignty of the country. The president of Bolivia, Luis Arce, after 3 years in office, highlights the results achieved in favor of the people in accordance with his government's plans. The Bolivian president published a message on social networks in which he stated that during these 3 years, progress was made in the areas of industrialization and in creation of bases for economic growth. On Wednesday, Russian President Vladimir Putin hailed the strengthening of military ties with Beijing as he received the senior Chinese general in Moscow. In the televised remarks, the Russian president said Moscow and Beijing were not building a Cold War-style military alliance, but said cooperation between them is a serious factor that is stabilizing the global situation. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu had earlier welcomed Shan and a Chinese military delegation in the red carpet ceremony in the Russian capital. Russian President Vladimir Putin denounced that the U.S. is trying to initiate tensions in the Asia-Pacific region and stressed that China and Russia are strengthening their defense capabilities.
We can see attempts by some countries to expand their area of influence, and the North Atlantic Alliance, oddly enough, in violation, in my opinion, of its own doctrinal documents, makes an attempt to go beyond its geographic sphere of influence. More and more, the United States has increasingly drawn the alliance members into inciting tensions in the Asia-Pacific region and tried to create new military political alliances, including countries of the region proceeding from its own selfish interests. We can see all this, and together with our friends in particular, and above all the People's Republic of China, we react to this in a calm and balanced way. We strengthen our defense capabilities, in particular, through joint naval and air exercises. We do this on a regular basis, and the level of our interaction constantly increases.
In addition, the Russian head of state highlighted the fact that the Russian-Chinese cooperation in the military and military technological spheres has become increasingly important.
And of course, our cooperation, our contacts in the military and military technical fields also become increasingly important. As for the military technical, of course, our work in high-tech areas comes first. I mean space, including high-orbit assets and new prospective types of weapons that will ensure strategic security of both Russia and the People's Republic of China.
For his part, the Vice Chairman of China's Central Military Commission, Shan Youxia, spoke of the need to work together to deepen ties and cooperation between their militaries.
In the face of the changing international situation, you lead Russia to cope with risks and challenges. Facts prove that no difficulties can overwhelm you and Russia, to which China shows admiration. My visit this time mainly aims to implement the consensus reached by you and the President, and work together with Minister Shoigu to deepen the cooperation between our militaries.
Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel, teleSUR English, where you'll be able to watch an interviews, top stories, special broadcasts, and more. Hit subscribe and inactive the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. One final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. In Somalia, local media report on Wednesday that at least 29 people were killed and 305,000 displaced due to heavy flooding after heavy rains triggered by the onset of the rain season known as TYR. The Commissioner of the Somali Disaster Management Agency, Mohammed Maulin Abdullah, said that the national government declared a state of emergency and stressed that overall 850,000 people have been directly affected throughout the country. Mohammed Maulin Abdullah also highlighted that more than 14,000 families around the town of Baderet have been denied access to the locality, the second largest and most populous city in Habulan state. Brazilian authorities reported that the death toll from the heavy rains caused by the effects of Tropical Storm Pilar rose to 8. According to reports from the Civil Defense and Fire Department, the 8th victim died in the hospital of the city of Ibiúna in the state of Sao Paulo as a result of the trauma received after being hit by a tree. Some 3,000 migrants from Central America, Venezuela, Cuba, and Haiti blocked traffic on one of Mexico's main southern highways on Wednesday to demand transit or exit visa to reach the U.S. border. The caravan of migrants set out on foot from Tapachula near the Guatemalan border on October 30, walking north towards the U.S. The group, which includes men, women, and children, stopped walking in Yuxtla, another town in the southern state of Chiapas, where they tried to get temporary travel documents to cross Mexico. In the United States, an explosion on Wednesday at a chemical plant in Shelton, Texas, has triggered a large fire and sent massive plumes of black smoke into the sky. According to local authorities, the blast took place at Southern Solutions, a company that makes solvents for glue and paint remover. So far, no fatalities have been reported, but officials says one employee of the plant has been injured. And we have come to the end of this brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. Also, you can join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. For teleSUR English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.